Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Clinton Clovis, and today our conversation will focus on men's struggle to talk about their mental health and how things are changing with time for us as men. But before I proceed further in our conversation, I want to thank our sponsors, PromotUs Business Consultants. PromotUs sets itself apart as a premier collaborator in brand promotion by employing advanced marketing strategies alongside robust analytics, allowing businesses to reach new target audiences efficiently. PromotUs will develop an intuitive interface and customize campaigns across your website and social media channels to ensure messaging is impactful and supports measurable growth. Utilizing advanced digital technologies, PromotUs will strengthen your brand by fostering enduring relationships and delivering quantifiable outcomes for you and your business. Visit them today at www.promotusny.com or call them at 516-920-6414 for a free consultation. There is a particular kind of silence that surrounds men and mental health. It is not the silence someone who has nothing to say. It is the silence of someone who has been taught in ways both obvious and subtle that talking about what bothers them would be a mistake. Men's mental health is now one of the most commonly discussed topics in wellness conversation worldwide, and for valid reasons too. Men are significantly less likely than women to seek mental health treatment, yet they account for nearly 80% of violence, aggression, and suicide deaths in the United States. Understanding this gap and why it exists and how it is beginning to close matters enormously. You see, from an early age, many boys absorb messages about what it means for us to be a man. We are told from a very early age to stay strong, stay in control, do not cry, figure it out, dust yourself up and move on. Now, these messages come from parents, peers, media, and the broader cultural norms, and they are really delivered with harmful intent. But we cannot ignore the cumulative effect that is powerful and dangerous. By adulthood, many men have internalized the idea that emotional vulnerability is a form of weakness, something to be avoided or hidden or treated with scorn and disdain. Attempting to treat their anxiety openly or admitting to anxiety and depression or feeling overwhelmed can feel like a betrayal to our identity as men. So instead, we bury our feelings. Our stress gets managed through hard work, alcohol, distraction, religion, or just staying silent. No, this is not a character flaw. Understand that it is a learned response to cultural conditioning, and recognizing it as such is the first step towards doing something different about our situation. One reason why men's mental health often goes unrecognized is that it tends to manifest differently than the textbook description of depression or anxiety. While women are more likely to report sadness, tearfulness, and low energy, men are more likely to show irritability, aggression, engaging in task, risk-taking behavior, or withdrawal from relationships. A man dealing with depression might seem angry rather than sad. Someone managing anxiety might throw themselves into working excessively rather than expressing the worry. These presentations can be mistaken for personality traits. We often hear statements like, that's just how he is, rather than to see them as symptoms of an undiagnosed problem, making it harder for men and the people that are around them to actually recognize what's happening. Today, healthcare providers are increasingly being trained to recognize these gender-specific presentations, which is beginning to improve early identification and care for men all over. Untreated mental health condition carries serious consequences regardless of gender, but the stakes for us as men are particularly higher given how rarely we seek help. Chronic stress and depressions are linked to heart diseases, diabetes, substance abuse, hypertension, and it is significantly shortening our lifespans. Relationship breakdown, job losses, and social isolation are common downstream effects of unaddressed mental health struggles. Guys, the silence, in other words, is not neutral. It has a cost, and that cost is paid not just by individuals, but by the families and communities around him. I want to say also for us as men, every episode of anger, aggression, frustration, and acting out we engage in daily cost us about 5 minutes of our lives. Let that be instructive. There are genuine signs of progress, however. Today, public figures such as athletes, musicians, executives, they are all speaking out openly about their mental health struggle in ways that would have been unthinkable a decade ago. The conversations are shifting cultural norms in meaningful ways. Workplaces are increasingly recognizing that their employees' well-being includes an emotional component of their health, and many are offering mental health benefits through employees assistance program and the destigmatization attached to accessing mental health. Today, the COVID-19 pandemic has played a significant role in normalizing conversations about stress and mental health from men who had previously been reluctant to engage in treatment. Online therapy has lowered the threshold and a key barrier. The privacy and convenience of virtual sessions remove the stigma of being seen walking into a therapist's office, a detail that matters more than it should, but it clearly influences behavior. Men and women, if you are listening to my voice and you find yourself identifying with the description of the contents of this conversation, here are some concrete starting points. 1. Name what you are feeling. You don't have to have the right vocabulary. Just acknowledging to yourself that something is off is a meaningful beginning. 2. Talk to someone you trust, like a friend, a sibling, a partner, or a safe person. You do not need to have all the answers. Just opening up yourself to having a conversation is healthy enough. 3. Consider professional support. Therapy is not a last resort. It is a skill-building process with a trained guide. Many men find it surprisingly useful once they try it. And 4, be patient with yourself. Give yourself a break. Unlearning years of conditioning takes time. Progress is rarely linear. Here at the New Hope Mental Health Counseling Services, we work with men, helping them to navigate depression, anxiety, relationship challenges, and life transitions daily. Our licensed mental health counselor provide a culturally sensitive, confidential, judgment-free space where you can speak honestly without fear of being dismissed or diminished. Visit us online at www.thenewhopemhcs.com to explore your options. Let's look at the bigger picture. It's not as bad as it sounds. Men's mental health is not a niche issue. It sits at the intersection of public health, family well-being, and cultural identity. The challenges happening now are meaningful, but they are not yet complete, despite the changes that are taking place in the wider society. And I, as a psychologist and working primarily with a lot of men of color and different races, I am happy to say that we are seeing changes in our society. Every man who chooses to seek help, talk to a friend, or simply acknowledge that he is struggling is contributing to a shift that benefits everyone. Understand this, guys. Strength, as it turns out, looks a lot more like being honest with ourselves.